This is a CS496 how-to guide. This is an introductory guide to the Apache Commons library and multi-part file uploads. So overview of this guide. In this guide, I will introduce students to the Apache Commons I/O library and file upload library for easily uploading and storing multi-part post request data. This guide will show how to import and use libraries within the Eclipse IDE and handle requests coming from a web application or native mobile app. A little background on why I decided to do this how-to guide is having spent a considerable amount of time watching the video lectures and reading the lecture notes and struggling with Project 2, I've kind of come to the realization that providing a how-to guide on uploading files as a multi-part request could prove to be quite invaluable for students, especially the ones struggling with these last two assignments. Also, because since our final project will require us to upload and retrieve some sort of data from the Google App Engine, I only thought it would be worth it to talk about some existing libraries that can really help us get this done. So there's the background. Okay, so a little bit more about multi-part post requests. They're just like any other requests, but they're special in the sense that they allow you to transfer multiple relatively large pieces of data or files using a single HTTP connection. This is accomplished by using a boundary or typically just a unique string that is not used anywhere within the data itself to parse out the collections of bytes of data. More information on this protocol can actually be found in RFC 1867, which documents the multi-part / form data protocols. A little bit of history on the days before Java Servlet 3.0. Users had really just a few choices when it came to parsing multiple file uploads. Servlet really is just a fancy word for a Java class in Java EE that conforms to the Servlet API. And this API is really just a standard for Java classes on how to respond to requests and handle them. So back in the days before Java Servlet 3.0, the developers really had three choices when it came to parsing out multiple files out of a post request. The first obviously being you can manually parse this request by using an input stream and reading the file directly byte by byte. However, this becomes quite tedious and requires a really good understanding of RFC 2388 to successfully handle these types of requests. Not only that, but when you're dealing with input streams, end-of-file boundary conditions and things like that can get really tricky. So making sure that you're reading the file input the precision becomes really necessary. Developers could also copy and paste some homemade library or code that sort of parses this for them, but typically with these kind of homemade libraries or chunks of code, they're either not regularly updated, not well documented, or worse of all, can contain some sort of bug. So really, before the days of Java Servlet 3.0, developers have really been using a popular library called the Apache Commons file upload library or the O'Reilly multi-part request library. The issue with the O'Reilly multi-part request library is that it has since been deprecated and isn't really updated to date anymore. So some of you may be asking, well, why would we want to use the Apache Commons library over a standard library such as JavaX Servlet package? Well, the main reason for this really is portability, and also most Servlet 3.0 implementations use a form of the Apache Commons file upload under the hood anyways. So just using and understanding the Apache Commons API can really help the developer understand what's going on. And not only that, it keeps the code independent from the server. Meaning the server can handle any request regardless if it's running a Java Servlet 3.0 interface or not. So I'm going to go ahead and start the tutorial by showing you guys how to add or import libraries directly into the Eclipse IDE so we can go ahead and start using it within our application. Okay, let's go ahead and start this tutorial by adding a library to a new web application project. So I'm going to go ahead and create the project and just name it how to. My package name is just going to be edu Oregon State mobile cloud as seen by Skifidi's videos. I'm not going to go ahead and use Google Web Toolkit. I'm just going to bypass that. Hit finish. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to open up our project, go down to the WAR file and webinf and then library and add the libraries that we just downloaded. So just go to wherever you downloaded them and you can just drag and drop them right into the project just like that. Okay, so once we've added the files, it's not just enough to add the files. We actually got to modify the build path so that we can directly link those libraries to our project. So let's go ahead and let's modify our build path. So I right-clicked, build path, configure build path, and here are the jars and class folders on the build path. So we're going to go ahead and add a new library. It's going to be a user library. And since we don't have any existing loop user libraries, we've got to create a new one. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. This one's just going to be called commons IO. And now that we have defined a library, let's go ahead and add some actual jars to it. So we're going to go back down to our WAR file where we dragged and dropped those libraries. And let's go ahead and do commons IO dash 2.4. And you're going to want to add all the other ones, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and just skip that for now. And let's do the file upload real quick. So commons, like so. And we're going to add jars to that. And it should just be that one jar that we downloaded. Like so. Hit OK. Finish. So now that we have our libraries, we can go to our actual source code here. Here is the servlet class that was generated by the Google Apps Engine. And if I go ahead and try to use this servlet file upload class and go ahead and hover over it, and there it is. There's the org.apache commons file upload servlet, the library that we just downloaded. So you can go ahead and hit upload, and there it is. It's all linked up and ready to go. So the next part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys what the servlet file upload class is, what it does, and why it's going to be so awesome for this next project. Thanks, guys. Okay, so now that we've imported our library, we're going to go ahead and start actually writing our application. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is actually we're going to go ahead and create the a servlet file upload object. So this is done by constructing a new servlet file upload object from the servlet file upload class. Okay, like so. And basically what this object is going to allow us to do is go ahead and convert this. It's going to go ahead and parse out the request as specified in RFC 1867. It's going to parse it out as a multiple file upload. And we can do several things with it. We can parse it out as a list. We can do it as an iterator, and so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's parse this out and generate an iterator object, which can easily be used in a while loop to go through each item in the collection of objects in the request. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do file item iterator. By the way, all these classes and methods are all documented in the Apache Commons API. So on the same website that you went to go get the actual libraries, you can go on that same site and look up all these classes and methods and read about what they do. So I'm just giving you guys a quick tutorial on how to go ahead and parse out, like, for example, an image out of your multi-part file upload. So here's our iterator. So I'm going to do iter iter is equal to upload, and we're going to go ahead and get item iterator, and this is the request as the parameter. And then okay, so this is red, so this is probably wanting us to throw this in a try-catch block or something. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so this, if it fails, we'll go ahead and throw a file upload exception, which is fine. So it's in a try-catch block, so I'm going to go ahead and finish writing the rest of this in the try block, so why not? So here we go, while iterator has next. This is super easy, so like to loop through each item in the collection, this is all that's needed. Just keep in mind that using iterator has next, this kind of peeks forward to see if there is something else in the collection, but we have to actually go ahead and fetch it. So we're going to use the file item stream, call this item, and this is equal to whatever's next in the collection. So now we have our file item stream. We can now go ahead, and this is just like so what we're going to do is, so now that we have the item, we're going to go ahead and open this a stream from this. So we're going to generate an input stream, and this is a buffered stream, just like you would see in like C or C++. In fact, this class is part of the Java IO package. So here's our input stream, and we're going to take our item and we're going to open the stream. So this is allowing us to go ahead and read the actual contents within the item itself. So I'm almost towards the end of this tutorial, but for project 3, I went ahead and did something very, very similar. So this is my project 3 code. And the main reason why I had you guys download the Apache Commons IO utilities is because the IO utilities has a really nice method for converting input streams into things like strings, or in this case, a byte array. So this binary large object, in this case, it's going to be an image. So if I do blob, and let's say you uploaded an image along with some plain text. When we iterate through the collection and we finally get to the actual image, you can get the image and store it as a binary large object by using the Apache Commons IO utilities to byte array. And we, this is obviously called stream, put the comment here. And this is all that's really needed to handle multiple file uploads, including text, images, whatever, all in one shot with one HTTP connection using the Apache Commons file upload library. So super easy. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys project 3, since it's a little bit more in depth, and I can go ahead and kind of explain what I did. So first thing I did was create a Boolean. So this is another method as part of a Boolean that checks to see if this is actually a multi-part file upload. If it's not, it'll skip through and actually return the response as failed. But if it is multi-part file upload as defined by this method here on the request, it goes in here and we do what we just did in the other example. We have our servlet file upload object. We generate an iterator from that, and we iterate through the collection and grab each item out of that collection. And once we do that, we open a stream so that we can go ahead and read the contents inside that item. And once we do that, the second thing that I did that was a little more involved is you can actually check to see if that item is actually part of a form field. So not that this is super important, but it's kind of nice. I'll show you guys on the front end how I did it. But in the case where in project 3, I decided to store the latitude and longitude and image path as strings on the Google App Engine. And it's easy as just using IO utilities to strings on the item stream. Date saved, this is also a string which later gets converted into an actual date and stored as a date object in the Google App Engine. And finally, as it's going through the collection of items, once it gets to something that is not a form field, more than likely a binary large object, or in my case an image, we just go ahead and take this and convert it to a byte array and create a blob object from it. And then from there we can take our persistence manager. This is done exactly like in Scaffidi's tutorials. We can I called mine an entry object, so I have an entry class that basically has all these properties that I can set and store in the Google App Engine. So, and this is pretty much just exactly like the videos that Scaffidi was showing us. But anyways, I mean, that's basically it. So, I pretty much covered everything that you guys should need to do in order to upload multiple files at once using a single HTTP connection, and showed you guys how to parse those multiple files using the server file upload, the Apache Commons file upload library, and the Apache Commons IO utilities to parse out the request and take all the individual items and set your properties, and then persist those through the Google App Engine. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope that for the final project this is useful, and for those of you that are redoing project assignment number 2, that this is somewhat helpful for you guys as well. So appreciate you guys watching, and hope you guys have a great day, and yeah.